Okay, today I'm going to be doing my Christopher Reeve continuity Superman ranking. Um, and I'm going to be including all three cuts of Superman the movie, because there's the 1978 theatrical cut, the 2000 extent or special edition, and the 3-hour TV extended cut. So all three of those will be included, as well as both the theatrical and Richard Donner's cuts of Superman 2. Fun fact, the theatrical cut is 11 minutes longer than the Richard Donner cut. I thought that was interesting because usually director's cuts like this are longer, and that's not the case this time. Then Superman 3 will be included. Supergirl will be included because it has some connective tissue with the first three, in the form of Jimmy Olsen, a picture or a poster of Superman, and Lois Lane's sister. So there's that. And they mentioned Clark Kent being Supergirl's or alter ego cousin, and Superman being Supergirl's cousin, without putting two and two together that both people are the same. Supergirl is they call her, or she invents her own name, Linda Lee. But no one puts two and two together that Supergirl and Superman are cousins, and so are Linda Lee and Clark Kent. And when both Linda and Supergirl showed up at the same time, which no one really knows that part of it. But anyway, we're also going to be covering Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. And since it is kind of a requel, a remake slash a prequel, and a sequel, not a prequel, we're also going to be including Superman Returns. I know this one doesn't star Christopher Reeve, but it references material covered in the, or kind of in the first four. For example, Lex Luthor, pictured on the back here, knew how to get, or knew where the Fortress of Solitude was without having to track Superman's alpha waves like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor did. He just knew where it was because Superman had disappeared, and then 5 years later he came back. That's what I mean. This one's kind of a remake and a sequel put together, because at the end of the Quest for Peace Superman movie, Superman did not disappear in order to have to be returning. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about all three cuts of Superman 1, both cuts that I have of Superman 2, Superman 3, Supergirl, Superman 4, and Superman Returns. So let's see, how many titles would that be? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to be talking about nine movies, while there's only actually 5 in the continuity. Or no, 6 in the continuity. My bad. So having different cuts of different movies is going to be a little interesting here. Maybe even unique. This is also going to be pretty hard because but I've rewatched all these movies fairly recently, except for the Richard Donner cut. watched all of the rest of these since last Saturday. I watched the theatrical cut of Superman 2 for the first time, actually Tuesday night, a couple days ago. So these are all pretty fresh in my mind, except for the Richard Donner cut. But I've seen it recently enough to be able to still include it and have feedback based on it. So let's get started here. See, we'll go from least favorite to favorite. Not necessarily best, as in like most well made, or like in reference to the visual effects, because the visual effects for all but Superman Returns for these ones are definitely outdated or dated and don't look as good as they would have upon their original theatrical release in the 70s and 80s. So this ranking's not gonna be covering the visual effects at all. It's just going to be based on my enjoyment of the movies, which one I enjoy most and would revisit the most, and which one I would be least likely to revisit if given the chance. And yeah, let's get started here. I keep delaying, my bad. Okay. So, I think in last place for me, at least, just because it doesn't fit with the other three movies in the quadrilogy of Superman movies. Meaning it's the only one that doesn't feature Lex Luthor from the original four, and so it seems like it doesn't quite fit with the rest. But it does. Events from it do kind of get referenced again a little bit in Superman 4, but it seems more like it would be if this was if these were Star Wars movies, it would be like um like this one is kind of like a solo a Star Wars story in the bunch for Superman characters. It'd be like, here's a Superman story, kind of. If that makes any sense, I don't know, but yeah, this one's in last place for me. Yeah, and then in eighth place is gonna be Supergirl, because it has real light connections to the rest of the movies, or at least the first three, because it came out in 84, where this one's 1983, and the second one is 1980, and then originally the Superman 1 was 1978. I say originally because the special edition came out or was released in 2000, and the made for TV cut looks like it came out in 2017 or was released in 2017. And there's a lot of extra content in the extended cut of the 3-hour TV version, especially considering that the theatrical cut is, I think, the theatrical cut for Superman 1, or the movie was, I think a little over 2 hours, like I want to say like 131 minutes or something like that, or 141. and then or no, 148 minutes, and then the special edition from released in 2000, the bottom one here, was 151 minutes, and the 3-hour cut is 188 minutes. So it has about 40 extra minutes of runtime, and the additions that were made with the extra footage are actually really cool. I was actually quite impressed with the extended TV cut. Let's see. Well, I'm trying to think now. So, 9th place, 8th place. I think in 6th place, I'm gonna put the theatrical cut of Superman the movie, or the one that originally came out in 1978. Just because compared to the special edition and the extended cut, it no longer feels like a complete story. Uh, so yeah, Superman 1 is going in, or theatrical cut is going in 7th place. The 2000 special edition is going to be put into 6th place. The theatrical cut of Superman 2 is going to be in 5th place. And granted, before watching the theatrical cut, I'd only ever seen the Richard Donner cut, and so there were things that I was looking for that I expected from this version, because this version's longer. So I was expecting everything from this version with a few extra scenes in this one, but they can but the Richard Donner cut, I think, is the better of the two cuts. So Superman 2 theatrical cut goes in 5th place, with the Richard Donner cut in 4th place. And then the Superman the movie, the 3-hour long TV version, extended cut version, is in 3rd place. Our runner-up is Superman Returns. I like the direction that they were going with this movie. I kind of wish that Brandon Routh had been given a second chance before Crisis on Infinite Earths to be Superman, because there is a version of his Superman featured in the Crisis on Infinite Earths from the Arrowverse crossover stuff. However, the visual effects in this one, as far as this ranking video is concerned, are the most up-to-date and much better visual effects. Of course, CGI plays a large role in that from this point on, as far as these movies are concerned. I've also recently rewatched Man of Steel, but I decided not to include that in this. I'll be doing a separate ranking on the DC Extended Universe at some point. This one's just the Christopher Reeve continuity. But yeah, so this one is in as our runner-up in 2nd place, and it says 2-disc special edition, but it came with an envelope that had a third disc for the Science of Superman as seen on the National Geographic channel. So this also had a disc in it. For a better look at that disc, I'll be doing half of a collection video soon. I say half of a collection video because I'm going to be trying to get through half of my collection in one video. So it's going to be a very long video, because last time I did a collection video like that, just the first case took close to 2 hours. And for the half of my collection video, I'd be going through cases 1 through 7. Granted, there are a lot of open slots for alternate formats or extended cuts, sequels, stuff like that. There are a lot of empty spaces for that, but it's still a lot of ground to cover. Anyway, you may have guessed it, but in first place for this Superman continuity, I'm going to put Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, because I thought, on a story level, I thought it was really cool, because Superman was trying to rid the world, or like was working together with the governments of the world to get rid of all nuclear weapons to make a nuclear-free planet, which is a great idea, by the way. We don't need nuclear weapons for anything, or we shouldn't need them. Sometimes we do need them, but we shouldn't. And hidden on one of the missiles, Lex Luthor puts excuse me, puts he captures a strand of Superman's hair to be able to, or he steals it, I guess would be a better term, or more accurate term to use. He steals a strand of Superman's hair to try and duplicate Superman's powers in a way to create a being that could stop Superman, destroy him, and as Lex would say, destroy Superman. And Nuclear Man, the guy right here, is created from the genetic sample from Superman's hair, and a bunch of chaos ensues, and it shows a cool power for Superman that's only ever used in this movie and never touched on again in any continuity, animated or live action. And that is, he uses some sort of blue like colored vision ability to repair and rebuild the Great Wall of China. And I think that is an amazing ability that they should reuse more often, because let's face it, in a battle with most of the Superman's battles have a considerable amount of damage to public property and buildings and whatnot, and there's lots of damage done to wherever the fight takes place. And so if he can use that, I call it rebuild vision, if he can use his rebuild vision to fix the damage before the damage is fatal for others, isn't that a good thing? That'd be great. He could just rebuild any damage that is caused and save a lot of money for the reconstruction efforts, as well as he could potentially save even more lives by repairing the damage before debris has a chance to land on anybody. So I really like that ability, and I think it should be used more. And it's only ever found in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, which I think is kind of unfortunate. But a lot of people like to say that Superman's overpowered as it is, and that would just add to his being overpowered. I get that, but for the reasons I just explained, with him being able to potentially prevent more casualties, it'd be worth adding or keeping that power intact. It's not even present in Smallville. The series, there's a series called Smallville where it covers Superman's life from 14 as a freshman to 24 working at the Daily Planet, seasons 1 through 10, and this rebuild vision, as I like to call it, isn't present there. He does have a microscopic vision, which is really cool, but um, I would like to see, with today's CGI and graphics and whatnot, I would love to see another attempt at Superman having his rebuild vision, whatever the technical term for it is. I coined that term myself. I don't know if that's actually what it's called or not. They never touch on what that power is called. It just, he does it in one scene and then it's never mentioned again. So anyway, that is my ranking for the Christopher Reeve Superman continuity. Yeah, hope you enjoyed my ranking. I'd be interested to see your guys' ranking, or if you have YouTube channels of your own. I would love to be able to check out other Superman rankings based on this continuity. Like I mentioned, I'll be doing a DC Extended Universe ranking, covering everything from Man of Steel up through the Batman. And then I'm also going to be doing a separate ranking for the different live-action Batman movies. That ranges back to Batman the movie starring Adam West, all the way up through the Batman. So that'll be even a far more diverse, ranking than this one was, because it's stretching over a lot of continuities. So yeah, that'll be movies, not TV shows like the 1966 Batman's show. It'll just cover the movies. So the 66 movie will be represented, but not the rest of the series that it's linked with. But I have a lot of viewing to do before then. And actually, what a movie I started watching last night kind of had a dual purpose, given the rankings that I just mentioned. And those are, I'll say what I started watching, and then share why it's a dual purpose for ranking purposes. I started rewatching the Snyder Cut of Justice League last night. That would go towards the DCEU ranking, as well as the live-action Batman movie ranking, because Batman is featured quite prominently in the Snyder Cut, as well as the theatrical cut, which will also be included for Justice League. Obviously, it goes without saying that the Snyder Cut is vastly superior to the theatrical cut, but I'll be including both cuts of the movie. The same can be said for Batman v Superman Theatrical Edition versus Ultimate Edition. I'll be including both of them. But yeah, anyways, I'm just kind of giving you guys too much information now. Information overload. quite good at giving people information overload, and I apologize if that's the case here. Hope you enjoyed my ranking and have a good rest of your day. Bye.